Peace, infinite waters diving deep once again. We are out here breathing in that beautiful prana, baby. How to pick yourself up after falling. You fell down, and no, the cat down the road wasn't there to witness it. Can I get a hello there? We ain't even had breakfast yet. So since it's the 7-day vegan challenge, yes, I do love limes in the morning, packed full of vitamin C. And whenever I'm feeling pretty terrible, which is rare, I take this because the lime cares, right? So I got a question in from someone who said that they're going through not a rough day, lots of rough days, and they're starting to feel their life is pointless. They're starting to feel tired to go on. And they say they're going through a downward spiral. Now, let me share with you what's helped me along my journey. You see, I've been sharing with the world for a long time, right? So you got to go back in the archive and say, was Ralph always in a good mood? For all of this time, we're talking about years? Is that even possible? Or am I just a wizard? Am I just an alchemist? Right? I talk about this every single day. This is what I study. Psychology. From a young child, I've been interested in human behavior. So when something happens to me, like the other day I'm driving, I turn into a gas station and I get a flat tire and I'm thinking, don't you know I got to come home to do a little water dance? Can I get a hello there? I was sitting in the gas station. Now, my former self would have been so frustrated, I would turn in on myself, right? My present self right now in becoming your greatest version is still frustrated that it's just happened. You see, in picking yourself up from a downward spiral, you got to admit it. Sometimes life sucks and that's okay. Can I get a hello there? But what are you going to do about it? How you react is the most essential component in helping you become your greatest version. Right? So, because I was probably just talking about that to someone, right? So, when I was stuck in that car, I was getting flashbacks of what I was saying. Don't worry about it. Can I get a hello there? But I was worried about it. And we mustn't trick ourselves into not worrying about it. We must go through every single emotion, even if it's frustrating, what is presenting itself to us at that precise moment in time. Sugarcoating it won't help. No, that just deceives us into thinking it actually never happened. And then you check, actually you're still there and you're scratching your head. Once you can admit what's happened, you can now move forward. Once you can admit what has happened, you can now move forward. A lot of us, we say, I can't believe what just has happened, right? I can't believe that just happened. That is why you're still there. You're stuck because you can't even believe it's just happened, right? So it hasn't happened yet. So you're going to have a lot in store for you, right? So I had to accept, okay, this has happened. What am I going to do next? But if you tell someone to keep it positive when they're going through really hard times, it's often not really the most reassuring thing you can do. Why is that? Because they'll probably want to punch you in the face. Can I get a hello there? Or not. Maybe they just want to hug you, right? But it doesn't always help. Forcing the mind to stay positive in a so-called negative situation won't help. You've got to release all the emotions, even if they are negative, and allow yourself to feel. Right? And that is the most positive thing you could ever do. Now, when we talk of picking yourself back up, then you realize you are exactly where you need to be patient and hold on. Now, when that happens to you, whatever it is, when something abruptly happens, you get a setback, a disappointment, saying that takes a very evolved mind to see why that might be a wise thing to do. Because when I realized that happened to me and lots of other things, over the years, it hasn't always been smooth sailing. I've realized actually this is all a learning curve, right? It's lessons learned. You always got to look for the lesson, whatever is presenting itself to you there and then. There is always a lesson. There's always a lesson to be extracted from whatever experience you're going through. But you see, a lot of us, we don't think that. So that's why we suffer. Because we're trying to control every single aspect of our lives. So I told myself that actually I can't control what happens outside of me. I can only change how I react. And because of that, I got a brand new car. Can I get a hello? Felt fantastic, right? What happens when we feel we should be somewhere else? We feel disgruntled. We feel hard done by. We feel inadequate. Because we don't think we deserve to be where we are. But you see, we don't have to stay there because this too shall pass. Slow motion with the sun out. I love you, son. Right? A lot of the times, words won't help. Actions will. Radical action. Of saying to yourself that, okay, whatever is happening to me right now, I need a broader scope, a bigger perspective to realize I'm not the only one it's happening to. Within the rise, you got the fall, right? So you can't have hot without cold. This is what we call polarity. And this is a Hermetic principle. So when I realized this early on in my journey, I realized that you got to learn how to dance in the rain. You got to learn how to shake in the rain, baby. You got to learn how to do a backflip in the rain. Can I get a hello there? Because life isn't perfect. We are trying to make life perfect when if you go to the ocean, the tide is always changing. No two sunsets look the same. Therefore, no 2 days will be the same, but the universe will give you whatever is going to be most valuable. Whatever is going to be most valuable for your evolution of consciousness. Now, as a psychologist, I talk to people all the time who say, this is happening to me and I'm self-destructing, right? I've been there. But you see, as a wizard, you got to learn the power of alchemy. I've said this, I'll say it again. The secret of alchemy is making the best out of the worst and not allowing external events to govern your internal condition. Now, when something happens, it goes back to what the hell? If it's a bad thing that happens, we say, what the hell? We might as well go and spoil the rest of the day. But you see, my new mantra is I attract beautiful things to me every single day. That's a fact. And even the ugly things I make beautiful. Slow motion. Can I get a hello there? You got to learn how to, if you are having a very rough day, play some classical music. Play some music that raises your vibes. But you see, a lot of us, we don't do that. We create what we call the domino effect. If we are feeling groggy, we go and eat food that makes us feel groggy when you should be eating a lime, right? That way you'll stay out of trouble. But we don't want to do that, right? So you got to be very mindful of asking yourself, are you adding to your misery or are you freeing yourself to experience you in your highest state, even though you are going through a midlife crisis? Can I get a hello there? We always feel alone, right? We always feel we're the only ones this has ever happened to, right? This is just me in it. No, there are people all around you, right? I'm connecting with millions of people every single day. Now, if let's just say I'm homeless one day, I'm going to come into your house and we're going to eat some delicious kale. Is that happening or is that happening? It's happening? Or the cat down the road is coming too. Can I get a hello there? If you don't laugh in this world, you're probably going to cry. That's why you got to ask yourself, what are you doing to bring more humor into your life? Because to pick yourself back up from a downward spiral, you got to also see why we have downward spirals, right? Why when you play an instrument, you hear different notes, but it's all part of the same composition. So in this soundtrack of life, do you just want one kind of sound? Or do you want a whole orchestra? Can I get a hello there? Right? I attract beautiful things into my life, and even what is ugly, I find beauty in it. So once again, ask yourself that, can I admit what has just happened is pretty terrible? Right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it with, oh, just be positive. No, I'm going to actually express how I really feel, right? Then I'm going to become an alchemist, change how I react. I'm going to realize life isn't perfect. Things break down. Sometimes even the cat down the road goes missing, but we live to see another day, right? I'm also going to realize this too shall pass. I'm also going to realize I'm not isolated in this. I'm going to call Ralph. No, don't call me actually. Call Jeffrey. No, don't call Jeffrey either. Just joking. Call us, baby. Can I get a hello there? Call Michelle. That's right. Call Lauren. That's right. Call Susan. Right. Call Peter. Call all your friends. And all of you, don't have a pity party, right? Because once again, you don't want to see yourself as a victim. You want to see yourself as a co-creator, one who is able to willingly and intentionally imprint whatever you desire onto the universe. That's why September 27th, I was at the point, 2013, where I was like, okay, Infinite Waters, we're doing it, but it's going very slow. I had 27,000 subscribers. Let's jump 2.5 years, more or so. We got over nearly 500,000, right? Connecting with millions of people worldwide. Why? Because I didn't give up. Because I didn't let my hand be placed in fate, in the hands of fate. No, I realized I came here to do something. But at that time, I was exactly where I needed to be because that's what's led me to where I am today. So there you have it. We're out here. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Have a beautiful day. Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace.